here's the thing. You got to have different email accounts.
Yeah.
The one that I set up, the email account that I set up when I was 15 years old on AOL, America Online, the one that would, take hours to log in, and then it would tie up the phone line.
Right.
So nobody in my family, or your computer freezes up and you realize somebody's calling in and kicking you off. Mm-hmm. So that AOL account still exists, but that has become my, anytime I have to sign up or submit an email for anything, that's not goes in. Specifically work related. Right. That's what goes in.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay. So, dude, you could, there's, all kinds of supplements.
Why tie it to your phone?
That's a good question. Some of them are still important, actually.
Clearly.
Yeah.
Clearly.
Some of them are still important, but it takes a phone call or a text message and I'll go find that email you sent me.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, it is the first time I've ever gotten a text message that says, is this working?
Like, did you send a text to ask him, is he receiving texts? Welcome to our guest.
Yes.
Mr. Aaron Parker.
Yes. All the way from Ohio.
Ohio. Round two.
Oh, yeah.
Round two.
Last time, did you drive in last time or fly in?
Fly.
You flew in.
Well, I flew into Dallas and then drove.
Okay.
Yeah.
But now this trip,
all driving.
The whole family. Yes, there you go. Are you so you have a camper that's like you're pulling behind a truck?
Yeah, we've got a 33-foot.
And then you just drop it and now you have a vehicle?
Yep.
There you go.
There you go.
Wow.
Right.
Bringing the family along.
It is a family affair, yeah.
Seeing the country. You know what I'm thinking? I'm thinking it's like summer and school's off, and I want to go to Shreveport in a camper.
Yeah. Well,
at a
Sportsman's Paradise.
In a camper.
Hey,
buddy.
Question. Were y'all camper people?
Never.
Your family growing up? Never?
One time my dad, this is funny. One time my dad got this crazy idea to buy, you remember the huge RVs?
Okay.
And it was much older because obviously he wanted a good deal on it. And it was like cream colored. Okay. And so we called it Krispy Kreme. Okay. And I remember making one road trip in this huge RV. And then he ended up trading it to a guy for a building.
Okay.
But we had a moment. Good trade. Wow. We went to Hattiesburg, Mississippi.
Dude, that could have become the tour bus.
It would have been an awesome tour bus. Yeah. But it would have broken down on the first run. But so we did that.
Yeah.
That was okay.
Yeah. Krispy Kreme. That sounds like you could write a song about it.
Stay tuned.
So my family, obviously not wanting to spend a lot of money on camping either, bought a used pop-up camper. Remember the pop-up campers? Oh, yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, they pop up on the sides.
Yeah, the sides and the problem is that your walls are now like mesh. Mm-hmm. And I think
fabric walls.
I think at one time my brother rolled over in his sleep and fell out of the camper.
There's another ingredient to this. I would imagine for anyone, but your family are large people, right? Like these are
we do stand out.
You guys are very tall. The whole family.
Yes.
So how are you getting in that thing?
Well, we were a close family.
Very close. Well, and the security on that fabric is kind of hooked in.
Yes. But, my dad also didn't want to pay like park fees or be around people. So we didn't like camp in a campground. We just pull over on the side of the road.
Parking lot.
Find a gravel road. Oh, look, it's woods. Let's set up shop here.
Yeah.
So, but I'll tell you this. Having a camper is actually really good. It ended up becoming just like a playhouse for the kids is what it did. We didn't take it anymore. It's like, hey, y'all get out of the house, go play in the camper.
Yeah.
And then my dad's old vehicles became, hey, just go play in the van.
Just go play in the van.
Right. Yeah, it's not going to run.
Yeah.
Just go play. Yeah, that's quite a playground.
Truck.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Pretty fun stuff.
Well, that's a great idea and a pitch to the wife. Like if we don't use it, just let the kids play.
Yes.
Totally.
So from Ohio.
You got it. Cincinnati
drove it in. How are you enjoying this humidity?
They're getting used to it.
Are they?
Oh yeah. Yeah. It's we're not used to it.
I'm not used to it. I grew up here. Every year, this time of year, I'm like, well, it's summer.
Yeah.
Here we go.
They said, what's it going to be like? What's the weather like? I said, ugh, that's what it's going to be like.
Yeah. There's a very Louisiana feeling that hit me the other day. And the feeling is this. It rains, and then the rain stops, and then immediately, like, the broiler turns on.
Oh, yeah.
And the sun's out, and you just feel the
steam.
Sometimes you're just getting steamed.
It's like the ground is...
Sometimes you see it.
Yeah.
Off the road.
You can't see it. Mm-hmm. Just getting steamed.
Because usually you're like, oh, the rain's coming. It's going to bring the temperature down.
No.
So on our way in here, we stopped by Jackson, Mississippi.
Okay.
Yeah.
And there's a friend of ours we stayed with, and then he had moved from Shreveport. And so he was asking questions about, so where are you guys going to stay and what are you going to do? And I didn't really have a whole lot of answers for him because I'm like, I don't know. We're just going to kind of make it up as we go.
Yeah.
So that's the way Parker's roll.
How many Buc-ee's were y'all able to stop at?
Oh, we have to do at least one Buc-ee.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So there's one in Kentucky, which on the way down, we blew a tire on the camper. This tire was absolutely shredded.
Yeah.
We had to have somebody point out, when you're driving and somebody points out and they're like, we're on the highway. And she's like asking me to roll my window down on the highway. And so I rolled the window down and she just yells tire. That's all she can get out. And yeah, we pulled the side of the road. That thing was shredded.
Yikes.
Those aren't fun to change either.
Yeah. I mean, we got it done.
There you go.
A little 2-hour detour.
Yeah.
But fixed it, put the spare on, went and grabbed a new spare.
Back to Buc-ee's.
Back to Buc-ee's.
But
then there was another one. We're like, there's another one 754 miles away. They advertised them 754 miles away.
You know what Buc-ee's could do?
What's that?
Buc-ee's could open a church on campus where people, it almost would be like daily mass.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
At least put a little chapel in there. A little prayer chapel.
It could be they could have a mega church in a Buc-ee's.
They could. I think it's huge.
It would work, wouldn't it?
Totally.
Yeah.
If the pastor's wearing the beaver suit, I'm going.
I could figure some stuff out because the minute I had that brisket breakfast burrito.
Yeah.
So you coming from Jackson to Shreveport, you pass through Ruston.
Oh, okay.
About an hour away.
Yeah.
That's where Louisiana Tech is.
Okay.
And we are getting a Buc-ee's.
No way.
Yeah. They're putting a whole exit ramp off the intersection.
Just for Buc-ee's.
Yep. And so Shreveport Bossier missed out on it. We didn't get the bid. So, but hey,
we talked about that.
That's a good little Saturday trip though. You have nothing to do on Saturday. Hey, let's just go get some nuggies.
Yeah. What's that, like an hour away?
About an hour.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, God bless.
You're not making the hour trip for Buc-ee's?
I don't like Buc-ee's.
Really?
To be honest, no, man. No, I just don't. It's just too much.
That's a Texas. Didn't that come out of Texas?
Yeah.
Yes.
Though, like
the guy has a great story. Yeah, his parents had a Buc-ee's. Yeah. It was like a small grocery store.
Yeah,
and then when he took it over, he just kept.
Because I got a friend
injecting it with steroids.
An Aggie, and he's like, this is
somewhere around there. It's on the way to Texas A&M from here. You get to the original one, I think. Somewhere.
Or Texas A&M. That's right.
Yeah.
I'm wrong.
Cool. All right, Aaron.
Yes, sir.
The business coach.
That's right.
Business coaching. Yeah. Coaching business.
Coaching business.
Tell me what you do, sir.
Business coaching. So I work with individuals, entrepreneurs, business owners, and work with their team as well. And we do one-on-one coaching. And so when you think about the idea of coaching, it's actually derived from the understanding of a stage coach, which gets somebody from one place to another. And when you realize that we're all individuals, and so when you think about coaching and one-on-one coaching, and you realize that the individual themselves have a place to get from one place to another in their own internal transformation. Everything we do in coaching is one-on-one, and it's all focused internally on the transformation that one takes in their heart and mind, and knowing that that's going to translate externally.
Yeah.
I was actually at a training yesterday. A group, they're here and they do restoration and construction. And then one group, there's two groups of the company, and one of them does a lot of the construction and another one comes in and does a lot of the cleaning for the homeowners. And so one crew was talking about a challenge that they have with the state of how the previous crew leaves it. And they're like, well, it's really tough when this is the state you leave it in. And so they were talking about that challenge. And it was interesting because they had asked me to give a little teaching moment, little nugget at the end of that team meeting. And so one of them I had pointed out, when you had mentioned this issue, that it's hard to do your job when this is the state of affairs that this other person leaves it in. And how many of us can relate to having a challenge with your position because of an external factor or another person, right? You'd be surprised how much of a one-on-one coaching session or something where you're talking about what you want to do differently or have changed, you'll be surprised how much of it comes down to, if only this other person would be better. And almost all of that is outside our control.
Sure.
So when you think about what is it that's within my control, a lot of that starts in the internal thinking and feeling and acting. So when we talked about this challenge, the ideas that were like, hey, what can I do differently? They were all like, well, I know I need to leave it in a better state for this person than I found it. And a lot of that, how do I make this better or change? They're all a lot of external, let me just do this differently or maybe get a reminder set. But we actually got to that point because they were open and really willing to talk about it. Mm-hmm. And so when you approach those kind of issues, but you take it down to the way of thinking and how one person thinks, then you have a lot of transformation from there. So the one-on-one coaching, man, it's just helping us get from this point to that point.
Yeah, I think, when I think through coaching, it always kind of blew my mind, or is even now talking, it's hard to think about. I just watched the documentary on Rafa Nadal that just came out on Netflix. But the two main characters are Rafa and his uncle, who's his coach. Mm. I'm like, how can somebody be the best in the world and still need a coach? Mm-hmm. Right?
Yeah.
And then you think of it as like the coach necessarily isn't teaching you new skills. I think that's what a lot of people want. Mm-hmm. They want to hire a coach that's just going to tell them what to do. Mm-hmm.
Or answer all the questions.
Yes.
Right.
Yeah. And have all the answers.
Have all the answers. Yeah. And it's really not. It's really not even giving much advice. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
It's just digging out, asking questions to internally look and see what needs to be done.
Yeah. Which, if I can make a little plug, it's that very concept that propelled me to build the thing that I wanted to build.
Yes.
So we can talk
your
about
AI tool. Mm-hmm. This episode is sponsored by Clint Davis Counseling, helping people make lasting internal change for external growth and success. They provide professional counseling, education, and resources to the community of Shreveport, Bossier City. They have 3 locations, one in Shreveport, one in Bossier, and one in Benton. So go to clintdaviscounseling.com or give them a call, 318-562-6903.
Yeah, because the reality is there's so much that an individual can come to their own understanding and awareness and actually make a ton of changes and shifts. And they're like, there's a lot of like, when you give somebody that space and there's a lot of trust to have that conversation, but it's all about them and they know that there's no judgment on you. They're not necessary. The person talking to you and asking the questions isn't necessarily have an agenda for you.
Go ahead. Until Nukes cuts that check.
Where was it at?
It's like right there. Come on, Nukes. Okay, sorry. Go ahead.
Becoming a master of picking right back up where you started is something you get really good at when you talk to Josh.
Okay. That's right. That's right.
And so what actually was I? Where was I actually?
Your tool, your AI tool.
Yes.
Yeah.
Mastering the art.
When they come to that awareness within themselves, there's a ton of stuff that they want to do about it. And so all of those things without just coming to the end of that call and then leaving them with, okay, go ahead. And what do you think you need to do? And there's a strong compulsion to be able to provide a lot of resources and tools for them to execute.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I want to get back to something that you mentioned earlier. First off, the coaches from Stagecoach, is that real? Mm-hmm. Wow, I didn't know that. That's a good bit of trivia. Mm-hmm. But I want to talk about the internal beliefs part of coaching, because I think that's probably germane to the whole thing, right? What do you think?
Yes, it is. It's fundamental. I think that when each one of us understand that we are taking action based on a set of internal beliefs, then you get to actually start asking some really productive questions that help you understand what goes on internally in your head.
Yeah. So go ahead.
Well, it forces each one of us to realize that we have agency.
Mm. Yeah. No, that was the thing that always dumbstruck me, is that many times you can see people's actions, and then the more interesting question is that what belief is causing this action? Mm-hmm. And if you can get to that, you might can get somewhere, right? Because I think in your case, like if you're talking to Leighton, you're talking to me, you're talking to anybody, any business owner, it's pretty hard to get people to change. Would you agree with that?
I think once you realize that something is possible, the understanding of whether it's hard or easy really just has to do with whether you have a path and see a way to it. Because if you think about something being really hard, oftentimes it's because we're unaware of the path or unaware that it's possible. But when you see it happen and you see somebody actually change, oftentimes you can change and you yourself didn't really think that it was possible until you start to see little shreds and little evidences of that change. And then you kind of catch a little wind and internally your awareness starts to shift, and that's what starts to change.
Yeah, and I think that's once that mindset shifts, how much progress you can make in a very short time.
Very short.
Let's talk about this then, because this is something you taught me that I talk about all the time, and I bring it up. The 3 limiting beliefs. You want to talk about that?
Yeah.
Is that giving away your trademark information?
No.
Okay.
I mean, there's a lot of different types of limit. I think there's actually 4. I don't know how well at the job at teaching you.
4. I've been, so this whole time I've only had 3.
Well, see, you might have qualified as 3 because
the other one didn't matter.
There's 3 other than the one titled limiting belief.
Okay. Okay. Well, let's talk about our limiting beliefs, and let's dig through them. I think that'd be very good information for how many listeners?
All of them.
Well, first, let's get a definition here of a limiting belief.
Okay.
Just overall. When you think about a belief, there's an operating system inside our head. So we'll take, for example, just so we can use an example here. If I were to say, I'm bad with names, right? How many of us relate to, so there's nerves and feelings that come about when you say go to a party or you meet somebody but if you have that thought, and I like to think of it like it's baked in. Think of it just like a kitchen, and you walk in, it smells. It's got a smell to it. It's baked in. If you have that baked in, every time you encounter that opportunity to have to remember somebody's name, there's going to be that thought going over in your head, I'm bad at names. And that's what bakes it into your mind because you allow it to run, that script to run. That's your choice. That's not the external world forcing you to bake something into your mind. You're doing that. Now, whether you intended on doing that or not, you're still in control of that running its script in your mind.
Wait a minute. I love this. I think this is like the title, The Limiting Beliefs. Mm-hmm. What if 10 people come to you and say, Aaron, you're so bad at names?
Mm-hmm. And what if you experience a bunch of occasions in which you do perform poorly when it comes to remembering people's names?
Yes.
Yeah.
What happens?
I mean, I've read How to Win Friends and Influence People so many times. And I'm still bad with names.
Well, the premise here, which is beautiful, and I think it's so true, but also, and still, I think that there's external feedback that contributes to these beliefs. Supports the beliefs. And I think that it's one thing for me to wake up every day and say, I am going to be a great husband and a great father. Mm-hmm. And there's another piece in which I tell myself that 1,000 times, and yet I still get feedback that tells me maybe I'm not the best or could be better. So the question remains is that as you talk about limiting beliefs, how much credence or credibility comes from the external feedback that may be pointing out truth?
Mm-hmm. What feedback?
Well, I don't know. Like, hey, we're sitting here and you're looking at your phone and you should have been talking to me or, right. That kind of thing.
So the reason I ask that is when you think about what script goes on in your head and all those limiting beliefs, all of those, they have a place to live, essentially. They all have a place in your mind in which they go because there's a space for them. Because whenever you get that feedback, you see it. I don't know if you guys have ever done this, but if you think, and we don't necessarily have to do this little exercise right now.
We can do it with each other if we need to.
Let's go. Okay, we can do this real quick. If you close your eyes, okay.
All right. For the listener, our eyes are closed.
Close your eyes. And when you open it, I want you to notice everything around you that's green. So open your eyes and then take a look at everything that's green. Okay, got it? Okay. You can look around the whole room.
I was going to say there's not a lot of green when I'm looking.
Anywhere. There's all
I found a few green.
Okay.
Yeah.
There's green to your left, by the way. Only because that's where I see.
Okay.
That's why I picked the green.
Gotcha.
Okay. Now close your eyes again. That whole room. Now take a look at everything that's red.
Got it.
Now, how much red did you notice?
Some.
Yeah. When I asked you about green, how much red did you notice?
None.
So one of the things that does actually take place is when we have something in our head that is already has a home, we're looking for it. We will see it.
Yeah.
What your mind is set to, it will see. And when it is not set to that, it actually will not see it very well.
It's kind of like when you buy a new car, and you see them everywhere.
Yeah.
Like, wow, I never knew there were this many Ford Excursions on the road. Seriously, it's crazy. I'm like, oh, I never see Ford Excursions anymore. And then I get that one, and now I see them everywhere. I'm like, wow, these things are still out on the road. It's crazy. Now, but that's what is that? That's your anticular something. It's something in your brain.
If you have listeners that have a high technical and scientific background, they're itching right now because they're like, guys, that's called the reticular activating system.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So that's why you can, if you're big into a hobby or something, you can hear a conversation across the room about that and ignore everything else. It's like, whoa.
So where you're going with this is that limiting belief, you're going to see that in places where maybe it is, maybe it's not, or you're just hyper-focused on it.
You're hyper-focused on it.
Yeah.
Yeah. You know, so much of what I know forms my fundamental beliefs and all many of ours as well as the truth that I see in the Bible, biblical truth. And this is why so often we're called to meditate on the truth, hide it in your heart, and have that truth written. That allows you to know the truth. And when you have that pre-written, meaning that's what you've meditated on, when you are looking for a certain thing, you're going to see it. And when you have that baking in your mind and there is a home for it, it will land many different times and you see it, your reticular activating system, it will reinforce over and over that story that you've told yourself. This is why so many of us see many, many different paths taken by seemingly similar people, because you're like, I don't know how this person responded that way to this, but this person responded a totally different way to the same scenario. There are many different ways that we will respond because we see certain things and we're going to let them land in our mind and then reinforce that story over and over to us.
This episode is sponsored by Ivy's Building Materials with 3 locations in Halton, Blanchard, and Mansfield. We are your locally owned home center. We have hardware, building materials, anything you need to build a house, to fix a toilet, to paint a room. Come see us at Ivy's Building Materials and see the service that we are known for. ivylumber.com.
When we talk about the external, this is something I've been on for several years, but I realized how much access I'm giving people to my brain. And so I've really limited that. And I've shared this before, but I've even told the people around me, hey, unless I need to know this, don't bring it to me.
Yep.
Because I don't need to know why that somebody doesn't like the way I dress.
Right. Well, that's a wonderful, knowing yourself and having that high self-awareness and then being able to do something about it, and let the people around you know, hey, out of love, if this is something you're able to do for me.
We talk about controllables. In that scenario, I can't control if people like how I dress or not.
That's right. No.
But I can control having a conversation and saying, hey, don't call me after 5 with a problem I can't solve.
Right.
Don't give you need to be my filter.
Yep. If you guys have ever heard ask and don't tell when you can ask.
Okay, go ahead.
You've ever heard that?
No.
Okay. So when you think about the stuff that you can control, oftentimes we try to go about controlling stuff we can't. And we do that many times by telling and trying to directly control. But what you did is you're asking them, hey, please don't do this. That's something we can all do within our control. So when you think about the stuff that's within our control and you associate to the concept of asking, we can all ask stuff, whether or not that gets, reciprocated.
Sure.
Not within your control, but you can ask.
Yeah. Well, and I've had those people around me catch themselves. They'll send me a text message on a Sunday about a problem, and I don't respond. And they're like, "Yeah, you probably didn't respond because you're spending time with your family." I'm like, "Yeah, I probably was. It was a Sunday." Hey, okay, so let's talk about the actual limiting. Let's go through them.
Yeah,
the 4 apparently. We've added one.
Well,
since I was
taught
taught
we can go to
this.
number 2 because the first one is, I think, technically called limiting beliefs.
Okay, so limiting beliefs.
Right. So the concept of them is anything that limits you.
So in other words, causes you not to take action.
Yeah. And remember the first fundamental concept of coaching in helping you get from point A to point B being an understanding and an actualization of who you are and who you are becoming. Right. So when you think about your personal internal transformation of you and your character, whether it's I want to be someone that works out more, I want to be someone that's more upfront and honest, I want to be someone that's more patient, kind, and loving, I want to be someone, whatever those character qualities are.
Yeah.
Right. So if you have these beliefs baked inside of you that says, I'm not patient, I have a really hard time being kind, I'm kind of mean. Right. I was in someone's office a while ago that said, best mean boss. Right. You got limiting beliefs all around you, actually, by different posters you might put up. Right. So when you have these things that reinforce stuff, they limit you toward your purpose. This is one of the things. So when you think about everything that has something to compare itself up against or juxtaposed up against, in this idea, we juxtapose or compare stuff up against who you are becoming and your purpose. So when you think about that being a belief that limits you, one thing that used to irritate me a lot is I would either say something or I'd just be talking about stuff, and then I'd have people around me that would just kind of point out my limiting beliefs. I'm like, yo, you shouldn't say that. That limits you. And I couldn't figure out why, because I was a fan of, not limiting myself, but it would really irritate me when other people would point out what I'm doing. Now, I do naturally have a challenge with people telling me what to do. But I realized later on why that was, and it's because it was somebody else imposing their understanding of what they thought I was being limited by and what their idea of my purpose or trajectory or what I was limiting. When you think about what you're limiting being juxtaposed up against your purpose, your personal individual potential, anything that limits you from that, that's a limiting belief. And so, the first and basic one is literally just stuff you tell yourself that actually does limit that. That's why it really just has the general name limiting belief, because it is very personal. It might not, something that you might say to yourself might be a limiting belief for you. It actually might not be for Josh. You guys got different paths, different purposes. That's the first one. So the second one, we can jump to this one, is assumptions.
Assumptions. That would be because it happened before.
That's right.
It's going to happen again.
Late.
I remembered it. It's actually written in this notebook somewhere. I'd have to find it, but I think I bought this when we started coaching I had my first coaching January 4th, 2023.
Oh my goodness. Can I see that?
Yeah. Look, I even have a triangle that says habits, skills, systems, motivation. Josh, where's your notebook with all the notes you took from Aaron's coaching?
It's on a spreadsheet.
Oh, right.
Oh,
yeah. And it's got many tabs.
That's right. That's right.
Daily work.
It's still there.
CIA,
Still there.
control, influence, accept. Yep. Look at my there's my glacier, the results and actions.
Beliefs. It's all beliefs.
Yeah, I got it. All right.
All the way down.
I didn't draw the train.
How many points? Oh, well, since you didn't draw the train, there were gonna be many points distributed your way.
Yeah. So assumptions, because it's happened in the past, it's going to happen again. So we don't take action.
That's right.
That could be a mistake, a bad hire,
a business that failed.
A business that failed.
Yep.
Yeah.
And this is, the reason you brought up that question is because that's a real thing. Stuff that really did happen, or things that actually do get reinforced because maybe you do have maybe you had a hard time with names, and maybe you actually were pretty embarrassed by that. And if you notice, oftentimes those things do have strong emotional ties.
Yes.
If you think about stuff you remember, almost all of them have a pretty significant emotional connection to us.
Yeah, that's right.
There's plenty of things I remember about my childhood, and most of them have a lot of emotion tied to it.
Mm-hmm. Very good.
Yeah.
So assumptions, just because it happened before doesn't mean it's going to happen again.
So Josh opened up and was very vulnerable and said that you've switched your computer system on Monday.
Yes.
How's that going?
It should be its own episode.
Yeah. Based on.
Do you regret that decision?
No, I don't regret it. But I like to have a lot of control over the things that I want at my fingertips. And I work very hard to maintain that control and access. And I'm just kind of like a blind guy in a closet looking for a hat. It's like, well, there's a hat in here somewhere, but I have no clue where it is. So what is that going to do? I mean, if I look at my beliefs right now and say, oh, this is always going to suck, I think that's not going to be helpful. I think the belief going forward should be, we're going to problem solve, and we're going to get through these issues and challenges and rise to the moment and come out better on the other side.
Or next time you need a software change, you're going to say, oh, remember that last time? Can't. We're not going through that again.
We haven't done this since 2013, so it doesn't happen very often, but it's the right moment. Sure. And so I think the belief, the way you go into something, a challenge like this, really determines the outcome in a lot of ways, right? What do you think, Coach Aaron?
Oh, Coach Aaron totally agrees, Josh.
Well, what I like to do is, I just go ahead and bring it out like, hey, this is about to be frustrating for all of us.
Totally.
Like it's going to be problems. It's going to be chaos. Like we just recently, we're still merging our companies. We started in January, merging 2 of the companies. And I'm like, this is a 12-month process. Well, this is not day one. It's all figured out. Like there's going to be frustrations. There's going to be changes. Your job's going to change. We got stuff to figure out. We're not going to have it all solved before. That's just how it is. But what ultimately remains is that you control how you bring yourself to the problem.
Yeah.
And so, and then I always tell people that I'm like, listen, if we have a problem and we have a bad attitude, now we have a bad attitude with the problem, right? If we have a problem and a good attitude, now all we have is a problem.
That's right. Only one problem.
Only one problem.
We bring another one with us.
Exactly.
That's right.
So, but yeah, no, I found myself all the time, with limiting beliefs, right? And even some of my team members and managers, and they're just like taking on responsibilities because they tried to delegate it in the past and it didn't work.
Yeah.
Right. And so now it's like, well, I'm never even going to do that again.
Right.
Or I try to hire an assistant. Right. I'm never going to hire an assistant again.
And Josh, to go back to what you had said is the replacement belief for that, if you remember what you had just said, was we're going to rise above.
Yes.
Yeah. If you and the listening audience, of which there are all of them,
multitudes,
droves. There's a little nugget in that I'd love to just highlight really for everybody's sake. But oftentimes we have a challenge or an issue, and it's like, I have a limiting belief, and this is something I don't want to have as the belief, but we don't necessarily know what to do about that, or what's the replacement type of thing, or I know I've got a problem. What do I do? So specifically with those types of beliefs that limit us, when you said, Josh, we can rise above, I don't know if you knew how much power was in that type of a replacement thought, but there's an enormous amount of power. I wanted to highlight that specifically because, seriously, brother, that is a wonderful way to lead a group of individuals. One thing oftentimes we forget when we run companies is we forget that the individuals inside those companies are what make the company. And those individuals, they have individual growth moments. And when you can tie and assign specific and individual growth, personal growth that they experience with you in the company, that is why, and guys, I get so fired up about this because Jesus Christ, he came as Emmanuel, God with us, to show us who God is with us on this earth, and to show us that when you put your hands to the work, you conform to Christ's likeness through the work. The result, when he said, you are the mustard seed, to his disciples as they're like walking away, we are the mustard seeds. It's our growth. That is the actual result. So the things that we do and put our hands to here on earth, we want to see the result come about. But what we don't realize oftentimes is that we are the result. Our conforming to that likeness and moving ourselves towards that purpose. So when you said we are people who rise above, you took that belief and you switched it to something that not only can be within their control, but it personally ties to their individual growth. And so they can grab onto something that will propel not only the company, but themselves individually within the company. And that is leadership vision casting, Josh. That right there is the ability to allow each person to see how they're going to grow individually and contribute to the growth of the company. And so when you switch that belief and you say, this one's limiting us, let me find something that is actually going to reflect not only something, number one, I can control, but number two, is going to be something I am motivated by because it calls me up. I can rise above. That's a belief. When you bake that in, now guess how many different things you're going to see around you that give you the opportunity to rise above. That gives that a home. That's the reticular activating system. Now you go and you see Ford expeditions, or what do you call it? Excursions all around. That's the Ford excursion, rising above. Now you give yourself the opportunity to see all kinds of things around you that will allow you to rise above. Now you're somebody who constantly sees something that allows you to rise above. Yeah. And how much are you going to be rising above when that's all that you see?
Well, thank you. Obviously, well coached over here in that moment.
It just fires me up, dude, because that's a wonderful thing you've done. I want to water the grass. Layton, yes, one of Layton's favorites.
Water the grass.
Just encourage, seriously, Josh. Yeah. Just encourage that, because that's wonderful.
This episode is sponsored by Plumber for Hire, locally owned plumbing company specializing in residential and commercial plumbing. They've recently expanded into new construction plumbing, and also, they're very proud of starting their HVAC division. So when the temperature gets hot, if you need any servicing or work done on your heating and cooling system, make sure to call Plumber for Hire. There's no job too big or too small for them. You'll see their vans driving around town. Give them a wave. They really pride themselves in getting to every job within a day of the call coming in. So get in touch with them, 318-709-9090, or visit their website, plumberforhiresbc.com, or you can find them on social media.
Yeah, well, thinking about a routine and ritual and just a mentality through this and limiting beliefs. I know we're only at number 2, but one of the things that I think about, like this morning, I woke up and I lifted weights, and I didn't want to do that. I didn't want to wake up early and do that, but there was something about starting the day going, I can do a hard thing. I can do a hard thing, because if I start the day off and say I can do a hard thing and I do a hard thing, then the rest of the day, it's almost like stuff comes up and you go, that's a hard thing, but I can do hard things.
Totally.
So I think that's, baked into this as well.
I have a thought on that too. That'll lead in our next conversation. I'll just put this nugget and we can address it. I think that's the biggest fear of mine with AI is not losing jobs or taking away jobs, all that stuff. It is the avoidance of hard things. And that's going to be crippling. But that's another topic. That's for
asking that girl out.
So, yes. So what I would say, though, when we go into this assumptions, what I like to do, this is in my brain, is this reminder of this happened before and it failed. However, we were a different company then, right? It kind of goes into that growth thing, right?
Yep.
Yeah. I was a different leader then.
Totally. Absolutely.
Sometimes I had a whole different staff then.
That's right.
Right. And it did happen, but it's different. Things are changed.
And I literally just had this conversation with a business owner just last week. There was an enormous amount of challenges this person faced in the idea of a growth phase of the company. There was a ton of growth this person was a part of with this company, and it actually was he also was kind of peeling himself away from the family investment time because of that growth. So when you think about that and what that did to that, what that person was baking over and over in their mind was they were saying growth was the cause of my lack of family investment.
Yeah.
Now, because I have a close relationship and friendship with this guy, I was able to do some hard truth pointing out, which is always one of my favorite things to do. So I got to call him kind of a pansy for blaming stuff on other things, which I always love to do. But when you think about you're blaming growth, you're blaming something on something that was within your control. And so, yes, you're a different person then, you were different back then, but you also want to ask yourself, what was the belief though that I had in my head? Because you may be telling yourself it was growth that caused this, or it was this that caused this, or the assumption might be baked around something that actually is not true. You may have tried to bake something into your psyche and form a belief around something that you said was true that actually may not be true.
Yeah. Yeah, very good. Yeah, we got to get to number 3.
Yes.
Look,
this is so good, but
such a great segue though.
It's very good.
All right. Number 3, what's it called? See if I remember the definition.
Well, then you need.
Well, I don't know what the third. Well, one of them is, I don't know what it's called though.
There's only 2 left.
So assumption, was I right? Assumption was that it happened before, so it's going to happen again.
Yep.
I know one of them is it's never happened before, but I believe that it is going to turn out this way.
That's right.
So what is that? Not assumption, but
interpretation.
Is that one of them? Mm-hmm. Okay. Number 3.
Yep.
Interpretation. Okay. Say that again.
So it has not actually transpired, which is why it makes it a good segue, because sometimes you actually tell yourself it really did happen. And so you put it in your head as one of those assumptions, but really it wasn't necessarily this thing that you're blaming it on. It actually was a lot of things that were within your control. And so it didn't actually happen, meaning it may not have been that caused this reality to take place. You're interpreting that something happened when it didn't happen.
So you think of, how many conversations do we have with people say, I had a chance 10 years ago to go do this and I should have done it, but I didn't do it. Right. Or I've always wanted to do this, but I've just never done it. Right. And so it's this idea of like, well, I'm going to go start my own company. However, it's probably going to fail. So I'm just not going to go start my own company. Yeah. Or I'm going to go do this, but then I'm going to deplete all my money. And so we don't do it.
Yeah. So you have this thing, this story that's been going on in your mind that you've been telling yourself, or oftentimes you see it. And again, it goes back to this reticular activating system of what you've assigned to stuff. People will tell themselves things and they'll say like, if you want to get it done right, you got to do it yourself. All right. Well, oftentimes that's because when you did do it yourself, you did it to the way you wanted it to be done because you're the one that did it. So you baked this story over and over in your mind that it can only be done right if I do it.
Yeah.
Well, how many times did you actually take a look at when someone else did it? It was done right. How many times did you pay attention to that? Probably not as many. And so there's this interpretation. You're going to say that, well, if someone else does it, it's not going to be done right. Well, that's not necessarily true. And so many other things fall into this category of interpretations, but essentially it's just that didn't happen, but you think it will. And so you're you're either not taking action or you're putting your effort and energy into somewhere that isn't. Again, going back to that original understanding, I'm glad we started this all off with the definition of coaching, because when you understand that you are here and you want to get there, an interpretation is something, it's like a block. That's why it's called a limiting belief or limiting blocks, but it's something that blocks you from that destination. And that thing that's blocking you is just an interpretation. It's not actually real. You're just interpreting that it's going to take place. And so it's stopping you from taking action, or it's taking your action in a different direction. And you're saying, well, my purpose must be over here because of this block, when really that's not a block.
Yeah. Very good.
So then, the question is, and I've said this before, and I always go back to Andy Stanley, because he was a lot of his books really formed a lot of my early leadership. But his thing is, in an organization, you should be asking what could be and what should be, like all the time, right? Or another one that I like to do is if somebody came and took control of this organization tomorrow, what's the first change they would make?
Yeah.
And why aren't you doing that?
Right.
Right. And when you start thinking of it that way, in that kind of conceptual way, you start digging out like, man, I'm subconsciously avoiding making some of these changes or taking these risks. Yep. And there's a reason why I'm not pursuing those.
Mm-hmm. So what were some things in your recent, history? As a leader
I think historically for me, my when it comes to this belief, it has slowed down my decision on removing people.
Yeah.
So, it's like, so that's what it is. It's like, hey, man, I let this person go, then this whole division is going to fall down.
Right.
We don't have somebody. I've invested so much time. How am I going to get this revenue back that this person does?
Yep.
And so I kind of paint this picture of I'm okay leaving a person in the organization that's not the best fit, or that might even be divisive to the culture. Because I said if I remove them, it's the results are going to be worse than if I just deal with it and keep them.
And dude, so much of that muscle that you create when you do that, that's actually one of the most powerful things within you, Leighton, that I've seen develop within you. That's been really powerful for a lot of your growth, is when you give yourself the ability to zoom out, take a look at yourself, and say, what if I was someone else, and what would be the first change I would make if I was taking this company over? But having the ability to do that really does take a ton of self-awareness, because you get really used to stuff and comfortable with stuff. Yeah. And then you see people around you and you start to form these thoughts like, oh, if he's gone, this won't happen. If this, and then this won't. And then the external person who would take over and make those changes is going to ask, well, how true is that? Yeah. But you're not necessarily going to ask that of yourself, although you actually are doing that, because you are kind of tied in. You're used to that result, or you're used to that, and you're not able to see externally outside, and you're not able to see that it's untrue.
One thing I always ask, I'm like, would I let this person act this way at my house or around my family, or I let them talk about my family members the way they're talking about me or another employee? And like, it's like, no, and honestly, and let's be honest, every one of those situations, and it's happened a dozen times, every one of them, as soon as a change is made, it gets better. As soon, right?
Yep.
However, I still, in my mind, have painted this narrative.
Yep.
So.
Yeah. Well, that's why I love seeing the internal and personal growth that you go through, and that muscle that you've built and developed to take a look outside. That's such a wonderful thing, because so many times you're going to thank yourself because it has actually worked out fine every time. And so giving yourself that opportunity to look back and say, man, how true really is this? Or am I just kind of getting comfortable with this and used to this? What if I really did challenge myself?
Yeah. The analogy I use with, and I don't know where I heard it from, but the analogy I use with my team, having to make a hard decision, because they do the same thing. They want to avoid a hard decision or a hard, especially when it comes to feelings and stuff. And I always use the analogy of walking around Disney with a small rock in your shoe. And in order to take that out, you have to stop everybody. You have to sit down. You know you're going to be late to the ride, everything. Right. Or you can spend the rest of the day just kicking the rock around, trying to avoid the pain. It's going to come up every once in a while. Or, that's what you do. You just stop everybody. Hey, give me a minute. Got to remove the rock from my shoe.
Yeah. Actually, we can go one layer deeper than that. You should have been wearing Crocs.
Well, that's true. From Louisiana to Florida.
That's right.
Definitely Crocs.
Right.
Hey, Bucky's Crocs.
Sure.
This episode is sponsored by Priority Roofing, locally owned, family-ran business specializing in residential and commercial roofing, repairs, replacements. No job is too small. They've helped thousands of homeowners in the Shreveport-Bossier area over the past several years. Call the office, 318-202-2123, or visit their website, PriorityRoofingLLC.com.
Okay, number 4, and we're closing in on our time here. We got to get to another one with you. So
yes.
I like the role you're playing, by the way. It's the comedic relief matched with time manager.
That's right. That's right.
Very well done. You're rising above,
Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah, just so like you.
Yeah.
So this one is one of my favorites.
Josh would be a good game show host.
I think so. I really do.
I want to ask you guys, in order to illustrate the fourth one, I want to ask you guys to identify something within yourself, if that's cool.
All right.
What do you think?
Ooh, hot seat.
You want to get the hot seat? It'll illustrate the fourth one really well. This one's called the inner gremlin.
The critic.
That's the fourth? The inner gremlin. Okay.
I had it the inner critic, but apparently it's changed.
Well, I think it's actually just called the gremlin, but
the gremlin.
I like to give them a little inner critic, inner gremlin. Okay. Although it's really just the definition of this title that matters the most to it. And it's really something that you've told yourself as long as you can remember.
So you're asking for what is something that you've told yourself forever that's not necessarily true, or is limiting?
It is limiting.
Okay.
It is limiting. It is something that is this nagging. You're not. ...
You're not.
And it often comes up whenever we're about to do something challenging or do something that would really propel us pretty far towards that identity that we all see. But it's this, but you're not that guy. And it is always tied to an identity, which is why I like to give it its little inner qualifier. Always tied to an identity.
Yeah, I mean, for me, I can look back now and see how the steps that I've grown over. But if you were going to tell me like 10 years ago, hey, you're going to have all these businesses, you're going to have this much revenue, you're going to have this many employees depending on you every day, I would say, well, I'm not qualified to lead that, right? And so it's kind of this, I'm not worth following, or maybe my opinions really don't matter, or something like that. The value of my leadership or my qualifications as a leader are not there.
Those two words, although I don't know which one identifies the most with you, but those two words, value and worth, those would be the ones that I would say probably get straight to the heart of what this inner gremlin inside you are. And it's worthiness and value. You're not worthy. You don't have value.
Yeah. Yeah. And, in fact, I talk about this in like therapy sessions, or even me and my wife talk about it, because that's really something, when I trace it back, I mean, it was probably ingrained in me as a child. Somebody probably said something, I don't remember an instance, but it's just a lie that I've had my whole life.
Yep. Yeah. So we'll stay on this one. Josh,
sure.
Please go ahead.
I don't know how
examine this thing.
Answer first.
Yeah.
You were really itching to get in the ring here. But if you asked yourself to trace a little bit back and just say, okay, what has that actually done for me that has really helped me, that served my purpose, that has actually compelled me toward that purpose. What is that? I'm not valuable. I don't have that worth. Mm-hmm. How has that actually contributed to what you would say is helpful?
I don't know. I don't know if it has contributed. What do you mean by that?
So if you think about that being going on in your head, what does it cause you to do that has helped you?
Well, I mean, I think that it's made me a learner to learn, to grow.
That way.
It's made me instead of just hoping people would assume or see my great leadership skills or walk in a room and just see me like I've had to actually articulate or cast the vision in a different way to show that, hey, I do know what I'm talking about. Right. Mm-hmm. And that was because a lot of times I think I had a real strong self-belief internally, but then all the people around me that knew me as the goofy, college roommate or the, the school teacher or whatever. And now I'm in entrepreneurship. They're like, well, no, not that guy.
Right.
So it's forced me to, I don't know, prove myself. I don't know how to say that. Well, but I don't owe it to anybody to prove, but part of leadership is getting people to follow you, and they're not going to follow the goofy kid from college, right?
Well, it's funny because on the outside in, I'm looking in and listening to this, and I kind of look at Leighton and I look at his success, and it makes sense. Like it makes sense to me. I mean, he's very much a connector, and he's tall. So you can't discount being tall in the world. But the point that I'm making is that, like, I see Leighton's skills and I go, yeah, it makes sense that he's able to do all these things because he's connecting all these people and putting them together in the right places to make it work, and it just all makes sense. Now, I'm not looking at him going, he's not unworthy to follow. Like, no, his skill set is working in this niche that he's going after.
Right.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah. Well, and that's why this gremlin is very much internal. It's very much inside you because you wouldn't necessarily see that gremlin. It's been his story. Mm-hmm. And the fact that it's caused you, Leighton, to be a learner and, dude, just really crush it in your own understanding of what it means to strive and learn and grow and build. And, dude, whenever we first started working together, I'll never forget, you texted me like 100 pages. That's like 100 little, and you scratched them up.
You gave me homework.
Dude, and that's that right there. And for those of us who are paying attention to this idea of what the inner gremlin is and why these limiting beliefs aren't necessarily bad, we just need to know and understand how they play a factor and a role in our lives and as it relates to who we are becoming. Because when you think about, this is why I just love this so much, because Leighton, that's really caused you to learn.
Yeah.
And to really strive with an understanding internally of what it means for you to become worthy of something.
Yeah.
So if you notice, that inner gremlin has actually caused us internally to develop who we are.
Mm-hmm. Well, I think that another big thing for me, and I think for others, and it's very avoided, is we have to have, like, we still need to hear that on a regular basis. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Right? Because usually when we wake up, the inner gremlin is there.
It is.
It's there.
It is there.
And so we need to hear that, right? We need to have people around us, and you need to tell them, hey, I need encouragement sometimes. Yeah. Right? Because our employees aren't doing it. Right?
Not on their own.
Are they?
Typically.
No. Or any of them with fighting this computer system being like, Josh, man, that was a great move. Thanks a lot, Josh. You're really killing that here.
Yeah. Mine is. Leslie calls me all the time. She's like, you're great.
Yeah. There you go. So.
Well,
and so do you want to?
Yeah, I can go real fast because I had some time to think about it. Thank you, Leighton, for going first. I don't know, man. One thing I can bring out, because there's probably several things, but one thing I can bring out is that when I was in my early 20s, I tried to do something really, really, really hard, like really hard. Like the chances of me succeeding in the business that I started was probably 0.00003. And I got real close, really close. So close that I was like touching it, tasting it, smelling it. And It didn't work out the way I wanted it to, but so I kind of came out of that with this feeling of I wasn't talented enough. I wasn't good enough. I wasn't smart enough. I wasn't resourced enough. And so I think that I take a lot of that with me even today of going, there's a limit to this business because I'm only so good, like in this little niche that I'm in, like, I might be smarter than the average bear, but I'm not like, when I see people running companies that are, 2X, 3X, 4X, 5X, I see them and I go, oh yeah,
that makes sense.
It makes sense that they're doing
totally.
That. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, whenever you first started talking about this idea of your vision personally, and this is something I can highlight too, because there's a uniqueness here that we can point out. And this is why it's so valuable to pay attention to the individual and what they're actually saying, because you actually use the word worthy. If you remember that.
That's right. That's right. Yeah.
But it is very different than the idea that Leighton's talking about of worthiness. It's very, very different in your sense than it is with that, because it shows up way differently for you. For you, it has a lot more to do with the talent.
Yes, that's correct.
This is why our inner gremlin is so personal, and it's really important to understand the story it tells us, how we respond. What's been the response for you in a positive way because of that?
Well, I think that it's pushed me to seek out others, who are doing what I think I want to do, and try to ask them, how are they doing it? Several times we went to other people that were doing it on a bigger and better stage. Yep. And we just asked, questions, and we've tried to be open to as many ideas as possible. Yep. And try to learn. One of the things I remember, I was our early manager in music. He had us open for a band that was doing pretty big stuff. They'd signed to Universal and they were doing really, really well. And he said, "Hey man, come here. I want you to watch him on stage. Watch what he does." And so I've just always been able to watch people and look at them and say, "Oh, he's doing this, and this." I see. Like Leighton, his connecting is what's bringing this together. It's not that he's like a genius.
Oh, I thought you were going to mention his height again.
Don't mention my ACT score.
Listen. I mean, height is really underrated. Okay, height is very underrated. But I think what it's given me the ability to do is to look at people that I really respect and just synthesize quickly, like, oh, I see what he's doing. Does that make sense?
Well, not only does it make sense, but I experienced it.
Yeah.
If you remember that call, you were like, "Hey, can I just ask you a bunch of questions?"
Yeah.
Like, not in my norm, but go ahead.
Yeah. Yeah. It was a good session.
Yeah. Mentor. Yeah. I mean, I think that's a distinguish between a mentor and a coach, right?
Yeah.
It's like a coach doesn't have to have already been there to where you're going. In fact, the people that have been there to where you're going are probably the worst coaches.
Well, it's a totally different thing.
Yes.
Like you said, yes, they're probably not, because they're going to have a lot of that. It's bias. It's a lot of lead. If you think about the questions people ask you, oftentimes they're going to be leading questions in that.
Well, coaches need to be focused on you, and mentors, the people that have been there, they're not stopping their day to focus on you, but they will answer some questions and say, "Hey, here's how I got there," and give you some advice and be a good example.
That's right.
And so
it's really powerful to have that. Yeah. Because you think about that idea of where you're going as a human, and as your internal transformation, there is a lot that you have to internally transform to get to where you're going, but there is a destination, and that destination does have like a practical way it lives and exists on planet Earth, and other people have definitely been there. So to have somebody who's been there as a mentor that can point out, "Oh, hey, by the way, if this is where you're headed, you're going to want to watch out for this, and that." It's not necessarily going to have a direct relationship to you and your internal personal transformation, but it is absolutely going to be really helpful for that external stuff, and watch out for this and that. And here's what I learned. And that's where a lot of that confusion between either training is similar to mentorship in that it's a lot of that technical, you're going to need to know this. Oftentimes in these industries we're in, like real estate, mortgage, they call it coaching. It's really training is what it is, which is great. I mean, it's insanely powerful. It's very, very needed. And also there is going to be a little bit of a coaching element to that training whenever it does reflect some interest. So they're going to get into some coaching, but there really is a difference.
Yeah. Like here's when to hire HR.
Yes.
And the answer is never.
That's a little maniacal laugh there, Josh. I like that.
Never. I like it. Cool. Awesome. Well, good conversation.
Yes, this was great.
Yes.
Great. Put us on the hot seat.
Oh, yes. Hey, what do you think about that?
Yeah, I like it. All right.
Well, thank you. Thank you, Coach Aaron.
Honored to serve.
Good session. Good session.
All right. All right. Bye.